we're going to be doing what we call the linear search algorithm. Why we are specifically talking about the linear search is because we do have other search techniques, but the other search techniques we only do as part of the A2 syllabus. So for the AS, we only have the straightforward search, which we call the linear search. So the linear search involves searching, reading an array, one element at a time. From the beginning, either until a match is found or until the end of the array has been reached, right? So this specific search technique is what we call the linear search. Now, what exactly? So for that, one minute, let me save the file. This is so we are going to assume that this array has got unique values. Okay. So let's say the numbers we are searching for are, the values are 50, 45, 65, 15, 10, 25, 35, and 40. Right. So if the array is called ARR, let's call the array ARR. Now, I want to search for the number 65. So my search value is 65. I start at element number 0. Let's call that index. Then I search, is that element of ARR position index? Is it equal to the search? In other words, is it equal to 65? If it is the case, we found it, but it is 50, so it's not equal. Then we change the value of index. Go check out the next one. The next one index is 45. Is 45 equal to 65? No. Then we go to the next one. We go to number 2. Then array 2 is equal to search. Yes, it's 65. Now we output found at 65, found at element number 2, and we stop the search. If there were duplicate values or repeating values, you would want to continue the search until you reach the end of the array. So this is the linear search algorithm that we talked about. Now, I'm going to save me the time of having to input stuff. I will just hard code the values. So let's call the array ARR. ARR equals to let's put 10 values in. So I'll go with the values I have already in the array. So 50, 45 on the board rather. 45, 65, 15, 10, 25, 35, and 40. And I need 3 more to make 10. Sorry, 2 more to make 10 elements. So let's say 60, all non-duplicates, and 30. There is no 30, so let's say 30. Okay. So now I have an array of 10. And like we agreed to do earlier, let us declare the array, a comment. Declare ARR. I wanted to get used to this thing because the syntax is useful, necessary. 0 to 9 elements of integer. So that's basically what we have done by doing the values like this. And of course, we have hard coded the values, right? It would be better to do that afterwards. Okay. Now I want to search, which means I'm going to have a variable, say, search, which is an integer as well. So I will start by asking the user to input the search value. It's an integer, so we got to do the casting, convert type conversion, input, enter value to search, or enter search value. Take the input, right. Now we want to search the array from the beginning, and we use the variable index. So let's say index is also a variable, integer variable, and index in the beginning is going to be 0. So I have to start off by saying if the search value is equal to array position index. Okay, we did that. So index is 0. So ARR index is referring to ARR 0. So let's still assume that we are searching for 65. Search is 65. Then we can say output a message to say value found at, we'll put the position that we found it at this location. Okay, what if it is not there? If it is not in that position, we have to say, go to the next one by saying increment the index. Index is index plus 1. Index is index plus 1. Okay. Let's close that condition. Now I need the program to go to the top again to line 9 and repeat this. Again, search the next one. If it's not there, go back and search again. That's why we have the while loop. While you have not reached the end, meaning while the index is always less than 10, because 10 is my limit for the array. So what I'll do is this one, hash and while. So let's come again. Index is 0. Okay. I'm searching for, let's say I'm searching for 45. So index is 0. Is it less than 10? Yes, then enter the loop. Is search 45 equal to array index? Index is 0. Array 0 is 50. No, it's not equal. Then you don't do this part, you come to the else part. Index is index plus 1. Okay. So index becomes 1. And while, go back to the top. Now is the index less than 10? Yes, because it is 2, it is 1. Is search equal to array index? That is, search is 45, array index is also 45. So it's going to say yes, and it's found. But now the problem is, it's going to say also that the value is found at position 1 at 1, and it will not do the else part, so it will come back n while and go back to the top. So again, index is less than 10 because it is 1. So it's going to match again. And it will say again found at 1. It will skip the else part now. Go back to the top. Till 1. It's going to give the same message. So until you interrupt the program or until the computer goes off, it's going to keep saying continuously found at 1, found at 1, found at 1. Or the value found at 1. Now you want to terminate if you found it. So that's why we use a Boolean variable. So I'm going to declare a new variable called found, which is Boolean. And before I start the search, before the loop, we say that found is false. But when you find it, we say found is true. So the second condition would be while index is less than 10 and found is still false. If found becomes true, this condition would not be satisfied, then it will jump out of the loop and stop. So now when you come out of the loop, you come out of the loop for one of two reasons. Either you have found the value or you have reached the end of the array and found is still false. For this reason, what we do is we can say if, this is after the loop, if the value of found is still false, then print a message to say the value sought is not found or does not exist. Value sought does not exist. Done. Now let's check if it works. Or we have syntax error if, yes. Enter a value to search. So the values are there right in front of you in the array. Let me search for 65. It should say 012 found at 2. Right. Value found at 2. Do it again. Let's do an extreme test. Extreme test. Extreme corner. 50. The first one. Found at 0. Other extreme. So it finds the extreme values as well. Found at 9. Element number 9 is the last one, because the first one is 0. Now let's search for 46. Value sought does not exist. Okay. Right. Any question in that? Any question? Any clarification you need? I'm asking you now because I recall after the last question, some of you were like lost. Some of you felt like you went through a twister. And I didn't have much feedback, but I could read the silence. I think if we went a bit too far, it was a bit too much for some of you. Right? There are some extreme programmers who may have enjoyed it. I'm talking about the question to input a sentence and number of times each letter occurred. That one. So if you have any question, here's your chance to ask about it. So if you have any question, don't feel shy. Don't feel that someone's going to laugh at you. If someone does laugh at you, feel good about it because you can remember this incident. Right, no question. Wonderful. As I always say, there can be no question for one of two reasons. Either we understood or we did not understand. Okay, so here is your question for now. All of you have to start on this, right? The array temp contains 30 temperatures. So it's hard-coded, right? It's hard-coded. Don't waste any time inputting them. The values are in the array. Okay. Write a program to read the values from the array and output the highest and lowest temperature readings. The range of values the temperatures are in the range minus 15 to plus 55. Now you have a good example in front of you. If you need to refer up anything, use that. You may learn from the last week's coding if necessary. Get on with it. I will check on your work in 5 minutes at 8:30. Yes, Imran.
Sir?
You want to ask a question?
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
when you mean the temperatures I'm going from -5 to +55, is it like with decimal numbers and stuff, right? Not integers, right?
It can be, yes, it can be.
So like, do we have to store the values in the array? No, right? We could assume like it's already stored in.
No, you hard code it.
Okay, so all the 30 temperatures, we got to hard code it into the.
Yeah, like we just did now.
Okay. So then we got to wait. Hold on. So we got to we'll put the decimal values as well.
Okay.
No, that's a question.
It doesn't matter. That's why I said okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Sanadi, that reference to the array is wrong because that's not what you're doing there is you're trying to talk about a range of elements. You to do it just like I did it for the array now. You put 30 values in the array basically instead of 10 numbers. Now the values don't have to be non-repetitive, so you can have duplicate temperatures. Now when you are in the classroom face to face in front of me, I just look around and I can see what you're doing. Like that, I'd like to see what you're doing. Of course, there are the ones when the teacher passes around, passes by the student, they cover the book. That's another category. Okay, go ahead, finish it off. Take it off. Sanadi, can I see yours? Okay, go ahead. It's still the start. And don't enter the values in ascending or descending order, right? I mean, you have put all the negative values first and the positive values later. It can be entirely random, the numbers. You don't have to have it in sorted order. You can take it off and finish it off. I just gave you a range of temperatures you will have in the array. Bashita, can I see your screen, please? Okay, now I can. There is a small problem, Bashita. Your code does not run. It goes into a dead loop, right? It never stops, and that's because you are not. You're missing the step of adding one to the index, so your index will remain in the same place. So it will never output the value. Can you fix it? Work on it. Take it away and work on it. Most of the logic is fine, but you're missing that step. Right? Can I check? Somebody else wants to show something on the camera. Sashil, okay. So temp, all temp. Why did you use the word all temp?
So it's ARR.
ARR, okay. So you don't space it, right? You should not space it. The word, you can't use ARR like that. So if it's going to be ARR, if you want to use the word ARR temp, you can use ARR temp without a space. But then everywhere else, you must use ARR temp. Whereas now in the code down, as you go down, you are using the value. You're just using temp. So the array name is actually temp. ARR was used just for that example only, right? But the rest of it is fine. Yes, and you have the correct answer. Good, very good. Your coding method is nice. Very clean coding. Good. Right, you can take it off. Right. Now, can I see Niranjanan's code? Okay. Okay, so Niranjanan has taken random number generation. Okay, fine. And index highest. Okay, so you have taken the first element as the highest and lowest. That's okay. That's a good way of doing it. Especially when you didn't know the values, that's a good way of doing it. But since we knew the values, it wouldn't make a difference even if you did it with the dummy values. It's no problem. And then while it's less than 30, you are going, if temperature is greater than that, then highest. Okay, so it's fine. The only issue is there is redundancy there now, because since you are taking highest and lowest as temperature 0, it makes no sense to start comparing with temperature 0. You're comparing at line the condition that says while index is less than 30. So you could start index with 1, right? Because there is no need, because you're already taking the first element, right? And the rest of it is fine. Yes, it's clean coding. It's very good. Okay, wonderful. Take it off. Can we check out Java? I mean, Imran.
I got a new name.
He's my phone pal. I always call him. Right, let's see. So we have random values there. Good, different ranges. Highest and right, done. Nice. This is exactly what Niranjana has done. And the only thing is you have put the values physically instead of using random generation. Good,
Yeah.
fine. So again, 7 and 8, you could have taken, like I explained to him, same rules, right? No problem.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
That's it. Take it off. Welcome. Right. Highest. Okay. Now, right. Now I'm addressing another problem with this code. Technically, it's fine, right?
It works. I tried it.
Musa, can you stop playing with the mouse? Don't touch. Take your hands or keep your hands on your head. Okay. Right. Technically, the logic of the program is fine, right? Can anyone tell me a problem that may occur in this program? The program works fine. The logic is fine. The coding is nice. Okay. Indents are fine. Clean coding. Everything is fine. Well, there's a small flaw in the logic.
The array is not there.
The array is not there, meaning?
He hasn't
Okay.
declared it.
Okay.
Other than that, because like he's hard coded the values highest and lowest, 0 and 99. In any case, if 0 and 99 are not in the array, it doesn't make sense to print lowest and highest values of the temperature in the array 0 and 99, right?
There goes Musa doing something. Okay, it's going to put a bunch of numbers now. Okay, okay. Okay, that's number one. Problem number one. Index should be less than 30. Right? Array not declared. Well, basically, he's declaring it now, but he's hard coding it. But the range must be less than 30, because if it reaches 30, you're going to get a subscript out of range error. Right? There is another problem that I see.
What's the problem, sir?
Dinanjanan, can you explain what you mean by highest value is too high?
Oh.
There are negative numbers also in the array, right?
Yes. Yes.
So then, so the highest should be the lowest value in that, right? Otherwise, it might get skipped over.
Might get what?
It will not be considered, right?
What do you mean? Can you? I think you're onto something. Can you get on? Can you try to explain further, clarify for me what you're trying to say?
So, for instance,
Imran?
So I think I might know what Dinanjana means. Like, so for
Yes.
instance, it says the highest is equal to 0. But then in any case, if the array has all negative values,
Ah,
then
right.
there
That's
will be
the
a valid
point.
temperature, right?
That's the point.
Yeah.
If all of the temperature readings were negative,
Negative.
then the value. Musa, come
What are
on.
you doing?
I'm just doing it.
No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You have to think, if the lowest value, the lowest value is going to be minus 15, the highest value can be initially minus 16, one less than that, or anything out of that range, like minus 15.01. It's still out of that range. So if all your higher, all the readings were minus numbers, do you all understand that? I mean, yeah, it's right, but it's something that is not necessary, since I had given you the values, right? And similarly, lowest can be set to the highest, one above the highest. So I gave you a range. 55 is the highest. Then the range, the 56 would be the highest, the lowest value initially, because it will always be in that range. Do you understand that? Musa, فهمت?
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone understood that concept, right? The reason why we did that. It's not a big deal, but if all of the values were set to, were read as negative, then the program would be buggy, right? The rest of it is fine. Yes, now it's okay. Okay, can take it off. Right. Okay, no problem. Right. So now we have the idea on how it was done. We have an idea on how to do that question. Sorry, Mom. Right. We go to the code. I had given a valid range, so I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 here, so I'm just going to use the same 10 and modify it. I don't need this. There's no search, but I do have I'm not, so you see, the point is I'm not too keen about the data type because it was meant to be a certain algorithm that we are focusing on, not the data types and stuff, right? So I will use integer for these examples, the lowest and highest. I'm just doing it for the benefit of the ones who have not done it. I'm going to do it with just 10 values. So while it's less than 10, okay, I will first take the highest as array 0 and the lowest also as array 0. Right. Now, there is no point in checking element 0, so I'm going to start at 1. If the array element index, wait, I want to change it. We've been using this while loop for a while now. So for index in, let's get rid of it. For index in range, it's a for loop because it's fixed, right? So I have to go through all of the elements. There is no need to break in between. So start at 1 and go until 29. So I say 30. In it, I say if array element index, if it is greater than the highest, then the new highest
The array
is
or temp, right?
what?
You mentioned that the array is temp.
Did I mention that as 10?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize. 10. So then the highest becomes temp element index. On the other hand, if the temp element index is less than the lowest, then the new lowest is temp index. So we do that for each element, and finally print the lowest temperature is lowest and the highest temperature is highest. I'd just like to give some of the minus values as well. 15 minus 15 minus 10. Could have a 65. Okay. Right.
So even the array declaration must be changed to temp, right?
Yes, it must. Right, are we having all of the variables, highest, lowest, and that one? So looking at the code, where do we have ARR? And highest equals ARR. Yes. Change it there. Listen, yeah, sorry. So I don't have 30 elements, so I'm doing it for 10. Minus 15 and 50, yeah. Okay. keep that code. There's a temporary thing there. I will put it on a document. Making a few changes on the document, simply to make it for 30. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to give you guys an extension to this program. Let me explain it on the document itself. Okay, so just for your record, this is the change I made. ... You can't do it in real thing, but and then I made this back to 30. So now we come to question 1. Question number 2. It's related to that, right? Modify the program above to calculate the average temperature I'm going to use a word that most of the time you use in stats. So mean temperature. So it's the same thing, right? I want the average, we're calling it mean. Now, 2 weeks ago, we did this question, okay? So I want you to modify it. I'm not interested right now in highest and lowest. So we're going to modify it to only give the mean. And then, now we know, I hope we know how to do that. Then take the difference between the mean and each element and put the difference in a second array named diff. Okay, I'm going to the board to explain this question. Okay, so did anyone take the time to calculate the mean of this? I don't think so. So it's 50, 45, 15, 10, 25, 35, and 40. So using this, okay, maybe I will add to it 2 more than we have 10 elements. So we have, let's say, 30 and 20. There's no 20. Okay. So, and the sum is going to be 335 divided by 10 is 33.5. Okay. It gets a little challenging now because we have decimals to work with. Don't worry about the decimal. Now we have a mean, an arithmetic mean. Okay. That means we have the difference, we have the average. Now we're going to put the difference. I am trying to make it correspond with the first array, the same lines, same number of elements. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 9. That's 10 elements. So 33.5 and 50, the difference between that is 16.5. That's what I'm talking about. Second one, 41, take away 33.5 is 11.5. But if you take this one, it will be minus 23 point. Right. Likewise, if you take the previous one, 15 would be minus 18.5. But here's the thing. I don't want this minus. I want the difference only. Okay. So this is my array called diff. Right. You may start now. So I'll have the question screens. I think I'll put the question on the board as well. It'll be easier for you than looking at multiple windows. So there's a question on top. Let's put it. Okay. So modify the program to calculate the mean temperature. So in this context, in this example, I'm having 33.5. You know how to calculate mean because you have it on the other one. And then we go to take the difference between them and put them into a second array called diff. Right. May start now. Insha, can I see your screen, please? Okay, 1 minute. Just zoom it out. That's the screen, and we have temperatures, array. That's good. Okay. So you have right, done. Temperature is less than that. We don't need to input the temperature. Insha, I was talking about hard coding the values. So anyway, that's okay. But now the problem is you are dividing ARR by index. That makes no sense. That line makes no sense. And when you want to print an array out, I know we have the shortcut in Python to just say print and give the array name. But you almost never have this need at the exam. You never have the need for this at the exam. They will always give you some formatting method that you can't use this print ARR. You have to print through the elements. Anyway, it's not a requirement to do that right now. So the problem is the average. You can't divide ARR. You have to sum them up and divide that sum by index, rather by the number of elements you have. And then for each one, you have to append it into the diff array. Okay, so you have to make those changes. Go ahead, but good try. Bashita, can I see yours? No, you can't do mean like that. You're not supposed to do mean like that. Okay, you have to specifically add them up and then divide it by 30. That technique of mean is not accepted, not correct. Okay, please work on that. And you're not using a second array. You need the second array. Okay, let's see Dinanjanan. Has Musa gone? Or is that? Okay, down. Get the sum. Okay, aggregate temp divided by 30. Okay, you have the average. And Sashiv, hold on. Sashiv, not now. After the Nanjanans, one is done, okay? And it's gone again, right? Right, average taken, and yep, difference, right. Oh, you've gone to the next level, okay. So if you wanted to do a deviation, what you have done is is an arithmetic mean deviation, because you are having temperature index. Hey, well, you can call this mean deviation, but not variance and standard deviation. You're a stat student, so okay. Yeah, because for to get the variance, you have to get the squares of the differences, and yeah. So. Right. Okay. Anyway, you have gone ahead of the question. So anyway, it's correct. Okay. For the ones who are not into statistics, what we are doing here in this is, how did we get the difference here? We are taking actually, okay, I don't know whether we use this. I think we did. We use an absolute function, right? So if you say absolute of 5 is 5. If you say give the absolute of -5, it is still 5. So this way you get just the number, the absolute value, without the sign. That's what it's doing, right? I believe we did this sometime back for another question. Okay. Keeping that aside now, let's just keep it on. Now, when we take this difference, what we have done is, we have first taken the arithmetic mean. 33.5 is the mean, right? So if that's X bar on top, it means mean, the average. Then we take the average minus each value. So we are taking the absolute value of
No, you didn't check my code yet.
What?
You didn't still check my code.
I know. I didn't. I'm explaining what this the sum is coming to. So this is what we are putting inside the array. Okay. So once you take the absolute difference, right? You take this X bar means average or arithmetic mean, and then you take the difference between the two, and then the vertical lines, the pipe mark, means basically you're getting the absolute value. That is without the sign. So that's what we have done, in that we have put it into each element. That's what we are doing, right? Finally, what we do is, I want to get the average of this array. Now, what does this mean? What are we trying to get here? We are trying, so what does this 16.5 mean? Let's forget about everything else. We're trying to understand the purpose behind this question, actually. So the purpose behind this question is, we have an average, okay? So for example, if you take a graph, and you have some data, let's say it's a line graph. So you have some like bars, okay? So some are up, some are down, some are up, some are down, some are there, some are down here, like this. Now you want to know maybe these are heights of people. This is a height, this is a height, this is a height, this is a height, right? So these are the heights of individual people in a classroom, maybe, or in a football team or something. Now you want to what is the average height of a person? That's the mean, the line that goes across. Now you want to know, so that's our mean. Now you want to know how far is this person from the average. That's what you call a deviation. How far is he going away, deviating from the average? How far from the average? How far from the average? So from the average, that's the distance. That's what we got here. So the difference between the average and the individual value. Okay. Right. So we are trying to see the difference. How far is it from the average? That gives us the difference, the change, the rate of change, right? So this, for example, this guy is far above from there. So there's a big difference. The closer you are, the lesser your change will be. When you get that average, the average of this one, we call this the mean deviation, because we get the sum of this and divide by how many values we have. Okay, but this is not standard deviation, but if you are going to go with the mean deviation, you're going to get the squares of this one, the squares of the difference, and then get the average of that. We call that the variance. Then the variance is rooted to get the root of variance is the standard deviation. Now, it's a statistical thing, so I think you guys will be learning it for statistics. Perhaps you have already learned it. So I wanted to actually show you how to implement that. Now, if you're using a spreadsheet or something, in one line you can write the whole function in one single line, one function, and you have the standard deviation for the sample, for the population. You have so many things like that. So we are basically trying to understand how to bring theory into practice, right? So you have to understand the concept and then try to relate that to the practical situation. So it's not a matter of I wrote the code and I got some answers. I wrote a program to do such and such activity, and I understand the meaning of it, the purpose behind it, the application of it. That's what you're trying to do, right? So now, okay, before we go any further, can I see, Musa, can I see your code?
I don't think it's the right answer, but
Why did you go less than 29?
for some reason it doesn't work when I put 30. It just says out of range 30.
That means you don't have 30 values.
I have that. Oh, I see it says out of range.
It's coming for which?
Oh, for the 10, for this line.
That means you don't have 30 values.
I have 30, I checked.
Really?
Yeah. Is it because I'm starting index from 0?
No.
Then?
Hold on.
So I think I may know what's wrong with it.
Well, what's wrong with it?
He's adding the current value of element to the total after he increments it. So when it becomes, so the next one becomes 31, and then he adds it up. So he should do the increment.
No, not 31. It becomes 30 and he's adding. That's why it's even there.
Yeah, so he's got to do the incrementing part at the end of the loop.
Oh, okay.
Right. Got it?
Yeah, I checked anyway, let's check.
See, Imran has been debugging a lot of code, so he knows it.
Right. Practice, obviously you're gonna get it right. Come on, so you know that as well.
Still,
No, these for the other part of the loop. It's for this.
Right. Okay. Less than 30. Okay. Oh, wow. Why did you make it 29?
it's still saying index out of range. Same thing again.
Wait. Where is the diff array now?
This one.
What are you doing there?
So the diff array will have the value of the average minus the
No. But why are you having this element into 30? Why What are you trying to do there? I thought you were going to append it or assign the value.
I'm making an array with 0, 30 elements of 0. Or not?
Is it? Yeah, it's fine. Okay, I just saw the message. Okay, you're on the right track, and that has to come.
Is this?
All right, so that will be it for today, class. Some of you have another.
Is my
class
answer
as well,
correct,
and
sir?
Yeah, it's correct.
The array, this one, the last. Is that the way of getting the difference?
Don't worry about that. It's fine.
Fine.
So let's go back. Show me the code. No, the difference method is not correct. Line 24. You have to use the ABS function, absolute function. Like on the board.
What function, sir?
Like I showed on the board, absolute, how to use ABS.
Why this won't work?
You're getting minus answers. The difference is not minus answers. It should be only the number. Otherwise, it will be wrong. I mean, you can't take minus 13 plus 7 plus minus 1. You can't get the correct answer, can you?
Oh,
Okay, class, I need to get going. So please complete this. The ones who haven't done it, you have an idea now of what was expected. Please complete it, and we will continue the lesson on the next class. Please revise all of the work. It gets a little bit more challenging with the things we have to do. Okay, take care, everyone, and bye for now.